Hi, how's it going? This is Resin of Collinwood for YouTube. I'm here to do my second true crime video, the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. They were both murdered on June 12, 1994. Nicole Brown Simpson was 35. Ron Goldman was was 25, I believe. Um, Now I'm going to get this out the way. I do not believe Orthol James Simpson killed killed them. Okay, and again, I'm going to stress this. That's my opinion. You can get mad at it. I can understand. Okay, but there are a lot of things that point to another suspect. Mainly, they point to his son, Jason Simpson. Jason Simpson has had a history of mental illness. That's one thing. Keep in mind, Jason Simpson is 24 years old at the time of the murders. Think about this: the man who ends up coming over to Nicole's house to, you know, date or whatever he was doing. He's 25. Jason's 24. Jason Simpson, there's a recording of Nicole saying she thought she saw OJ outside her house when really it was Jason Simpson outside of her house. She said, but it was Jason. He was watching me. So, in Nicole's own words, she says Jason was watching her. Now, let me tell you what I think happened here because this is going to get into incest. No, I don't think they had sex. Or, I think he was stalking her because he was infatuated with her heavily. He wanted her. He's 24 years old at the time. He sees this beautiful blonde woman who he knows his dad has had, who he knows his dad has been married to, or still technically married to, or divorced, or whatever. Oh, that's right, they were divorced, sorry. But who his dad was married to. Now, let me be clear about this. I'm saying this up front. No, they were not sexually involved, but he wanted it to be that way. He wanted her. Look, the kid had issues, okay? No question. All right? There's no question the dude has issues. He has a history of mental illness. His alibi, which the police thought was rock solid, wasn't as rock solid as it checked out to as they checked it out to be. And by the way, this is just further incompetence by the Los Angeles Police Department. And let's face facts, the Los Angeles Police Department have a history of incompetence. These motherfuckers couldn't catch COVID if they fucking tried. Alright, that's number two. Number three, this is what I got sick of hearing over the years with this case. The murder was planned. The murder was planned. No, no, I don't agree with that at all. If the murder was planned, if now keep in mind, let's focus on Nicole for a moment because I know there are two murders involved here. Let's focus on Nicole alone for a moment. If the killer is planning on murdering Nicole on that night of the 12th, shouldn't he have known things like the daughter's supposed to come over? Then there's Ron Goldman. He's on his way over. Shouldn't he have known that if the killer has been planning a date, if the killer was planning a specific date to kill her, shouldn't the killer have been more aware of who was coming and who was going? The killer was stalking. Here's the thing. Was the killer stalking her? Yes. But the killer was so focused on only her that the killer didn't pay attention to certain things around him, like who was coming and who was going. The murder was not planned. He walked in my opinion, he wanted to touch her. She rejected him, rightfully so, by the way. Probably smacked him, and he decided to murder her in his moment of rage. He murdered her. Ron Goldman was the at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's sad too. There's a lot of sick things in this case besides the murders. Yes, the murders are sick overall. Here's what makes me sick. Every motherfucker that was involved in this case got a career out of it. Now, I can forgive, what was the lawyer? God, I was just talking about this a couple of nights ago. Oh, Johnny Cochran. Because Cochran, before the Simpson trial and before the murders themselves, he was in many ways fighting police corruption. He was against it. He was so fed up and sick of the law because there was no real law to him. And I agree with him. Here that's how he felt. Now, in this did it if you notice, it took the O.J. Simpson trial for things to finally come out. Hey, they recorded the cop for being racist. That he was a racist. Again, that guy has a job somewhere, by the way. Um, again, I just think it's sad. You have two young people cut down in their lives, and all the LA police can do is focus on one person, and they have nothing to show for it. They don't investigate anybody other than OJ. And what did that get them? It got them nothing. It's an all too familiar trend with the Los Angeles Police Department. It really is. Now, why do I think it was Jason? Number one, it's funny because over the years people talked about how obsessed OJ was with Nicole. Okay, if you can think one person is obsessed with her, why can't you think someone else was obsessed with her? Because one person can be more than obsessed with you. An obsession doesn't always lead to murder. In this case, it did, but with Jason, not OJ. He wanted to make love to her. He wanted her. She People forget how beautiful Nicole Brown Simpson really was. She was stunning, and I'm saying that. She was. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, she attracted the wrong person. And again, that's not on her. She couldn't have foreseen what was going to happen. No one could have. Now, again, it gets back to my point of the killer did not plan to kill her. It's something that happened. And unfortunately, like I said, Ron Goldman was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I honestly think that if they were to investigate him a lot further, meaning Jason, the police would have had something. I don't know if they'd have something now, but they would have had something because his alibi was weak as shit. It was weak. Did OJ, does OJ Simpson know who did it? Or was he at least there? Yes. In my opinion, one of two things happened. And I want to stress this. Again, this is all my opinion. Number one, Jason, because Jason wasn't always in the right frame of mind, told his dad what he was doing. And I'll say this, yes, O.J. Simpson had a notoriously bad temper. And Simpson, O.J., got mad at his son and started arguing with him. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What do you mean you're watching? Like, what the fuck? And so the argument happens frequently, and so Jason just ignores him, and OG just like, okay, whatever. Like he just chalks it up to no big deal at first, but then when he can't find his son, he puts two and like, where the hell is he? And then he decides to go over to Nicole's house. He's not going over there to murder Nicole. He's going over there to confront his son and knock it the fuck off. And then he walks into the shock of his life. That's my first opinion. My second is he didn't know his son was doing what he was doing, watching her, and Jason felt Jason went to his dad and told him what he done, and then he saw it for himself. That's my opinion. Again, that's how I feel about it. I understand if you don't feel the same way. It is crazy. It is truly crazy and sad that this crime remains unsolved. And it remains unsolved because of the Los Angeles Police Department. I'll tell you that straight up. Like I said, they could not catch fucking COVID. The Black Dahlia, okay? Now, I can't say the Zodiac because that was San Francisco, but the Black Dahlia, the the Night Stalker, he was caught more by happenstance than anything. Nicole Brown Simpson. I mean, look, it is it is insane how many murders happen, but this one here just made me shake my head at the police. Like, what are you doing? Like you're because the problem is they honed in on one suspect. And really only one. And really when you look at the investigation, you could tell they did that from the word go. I know again a lot of people are gonna be angry at this video. I'm gonna try to find the video of that recording where she says Jason was watching her. So hopefully the link will be in the description box. You guys have a nice night. I'll see you on the second video.